Living in space. We've all dreamt of it since we were kids. Ever since the movie Interstellar first released, every single human on Earth has thought, man, I want to leave Earth. Unless you saw Apollo 18, in which case you probably never want to step foot on a spaceship. But for those of us who aren't scared of little spider aliens, living in space might soon be a reality. The International Space Station, aka the ISS, is being decommissioned and replaced by privately owned commercial space stations with movie studios, high-tech laboratories, and even space hotels. For those of you who don't know, the ISS is the only permanently inhabited operational space station. It was launched in 1998 and since then has been known as a collaboration center for some of the world's greatest scientists, delivering cutting-edge research that could only be done within the realm of low gravity. By November of 2022, the ISS will be 24 years old, which, as those of you in your early 20s know, is quite old. If the ISS was a person, it would have graduated college by now and probably be working a 9-to-5 office job in Tucson, Arizona with nothing left to look forward to in life. Not to mention, it's been taking quite a beating from all the space debris that is apparently flying around out there, and though NASA has a budget for private repairs, it can only handle so much. If only it were built by the same mechanics that designed my 1998 Ford Explorer, because that bad boy is indestructible. But sadly, it is not, and the ISS is getting close to being on its last leg. NASA already has plans to decommission it by 2031, sending it straight into the Atlantic Ocean. During its time up in space, despite being government-owned, the ISS was serviced by many different privately owned spacecraft companies, allowing humanity to test the waters for the potential of commercialized space. It worked out pretty well, as NASA was able to save a lot of money, and now they believe the best course of action for the future is commercialized space stations. SpaceX, Lockheed Martin, Blue Origin, and other spacecraft companies already have plenty of plans for how they want to design their space stations. Of course, the obvious research labs will be implemented, but many of these companies include plans for amenities such as media production studios, manufacturing zones, and vacation getaways. While on the surface this seems like a dream come true, the reality is that it is an absolute dystopian nightmare. At first you think, yay, space hotels, but then you realize you and I will never actually be able to visit one of these space hotels. The ISS during its lifetime costs an average of $4 billion per year to operate, meaning for these privately owned space stations to remain operational, they'll have to make enough profits to cover costs similar to what the ISS experienced. Yes, that's right. For a business to remain operational, it must have higher revenue than costs. And yes, I did go to business school, and that is the only thing I learned. That means one heck of a ticket price for a trip to the station and a 7-day spacecation if these companies are going to be able to cover those type of costs. You and I will probably never be able to afford it, but Kanye could, and he could finally get as far away from Pete Davidson as he possibly could. In all honesty though, how fun could it be to spend a week up in space? Sure, for the first day you'll be like, yay, no gravity, woohoo! But by the second, you're just gonna be frustrated that you have to sit on a vacuum cleaner every time you need to use the bathroom. And the nightmare only gets worse. Whether you chose to forget about it to focus on the incredible chance at taking a space vacation or not, I'm sure you heard me when I said manufacturing zones. Some of these space stations plan to implement literal factories into their stations. Yeah, apparently working in zero gravity makes you tire out less quickly, so minimum wage factory workers can be squeezed for even more work than they already are on Earth. No, I'm kidding. The real reason for these work zones is because of certain specialty products that would be easier to manufacture in microgravity. Although, Axiom Space, another space station contender, has mentioned their belief in the advantages that could come from manufacturing in microgravity across all industries. I wouldn't be too surprised if my joke truly becomes a reality and companies one by one start moving their factories to outer space with their workers forced to slave away in zero gravity.
Just put this piece here. Oh, damn it, not again.
So yeah, commercial space stations might not be something to look forward to. Looks like one of my childhood dreams was once again ruined by capitalism. Thanks, Jeff Bezos.